A double homicide case involving two teenagers. The Orange County Sheriff's Office detained a suspect today in connection with the murders of 18-year-old Devin Clark and 14-year-old Lyric Woods.
You'll remember ATV riders found their bodies in an Orange County field last month. Investigators say someone had shot them. We have been trying to get new information in this case for weeks, but investigators haven't released much. In a statement today, the Orange County Sheriff wrote, "We hope this apprehension provides some relief to the families and friends of Devin and Lyric who have experienced an excruciating loss." Obviously, the capture of the suspect does not restore their loved one to them. The grieving process is a long one, and we hope the community will continue to support them in their pain.
The Sheriff's Office says no other details will be released until the case is no longer under the jurisdiction of the juvenile court. Right now, our WFMY News 2 crews are on the way to Orange County. We expect to have an update from them very soon.
Of course, as soon as we get that, we'll pass it on to you. Welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton alongside Chad Silver, Lauren Coleman, and Monique Robinson today.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching us on Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFMY News 2 app.
Coming up this half hour, we'll get an update on the weather from Monique. Also, it is Random Acts of Kindness Day. So we're going to be talking to Blanca Cobb about ways to be nicer to ourselves and to others.
Looking forward to that, but for now, let's get to some developing news on a girl police say was shot while at the playground. It happened last night at the Astor Park Apartments in Winston-Salem.
The 6-year-old's injuries were not severe, but police say the suspects are still on the run. WFMY News 2 City Moore heard from the child's grandmother, who says she's just happy that little girl's alive today.
Yeah, Chad, absolutely. Now, the grandmother of the 6-year-old little girl says that a lot of kids were playing at this playground when a bullet hit her granddaughter. And also, she said that it's a playground that's right next to the little girl's home. Now, Winston-Salem police say several young teens were shooting at one another near the playground when the 6-year-old was hit. They say the little girl was most likely not the intended target. The grandmother says this incident has scarred her grandchildren.
They don't want to come outside and say, you know, they're saying all this stuff in their head. They don't want to go to the playground. And I do believe they're taking away for the childhood for a child to come outside and play.
The grandmother tells me, thankfully, that her granddaughter is doing well and is walking around. She says the next steps is to get her into counseling. Live in Winston-Salem, I'm Sydney Moore, WFMY News 2.
Sydney, thank you. Let's get to our 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, we are learning more about the 5th North Carolinian to die following Hurricane Ian. Investigators say a 24-year-old man died when his car hydroplaned and hit a tree in Moore County, which is northwest of Fayetteville. The other 4 deaths were in the eastern part of the state. Hard to believe, but flooding is still a threat at the Outer Banks. It has been a week since Ian slammed into the Florida coast. Search and rescue teams are still combing through the destruction. There have been more than 100 storm-related deaths in the Sunshine State. Thousands of people are still without power, and leaders are saying it could be months before it's all restored. President Biden toured the area today, meeting with families and first responders in Fort Myers.
Right now, there are a lot of questions circling around recent student loan announcements. The Biden administration rolled out a massive forgiveness plan, but there's still no word on when people can apply for it. In the meantime, a handful of state attorneys general are challenging the effort. All are from Republican-led states, including South Carolina. They filed a lawsuit in federal court last month. A ruling is expected next week. We'll keep you posted. Actor Alec Baldwin reached an agreement with the family of a cinematographer killed while working on a movie set. Baldwin and the husband of Helena Hutchins settled the wrongful death suit for undisclosed amounts. Last year, Baldwin shot and killed Hutchins with a prop gun on the movie set of Rust. Investigators ruled her death an accident. The family says they are not interested in pointing blame. Hutchins' husband is now working on a film as the executive producer.
It's been a nice afternoon all across the central Piedmont. Temperatures in the 70s. As we look further south, temperatures are reading in the 80s. This is the warm spot. The cool spot is all across the north and the east as cloud cover and rain persists all across the mid-Atlantic. Over the past couple of days, it's been chilly, but we've been on the warming up streak. You can see Saturday and Sunday, temperatures in the low 60s. Monday, we were in the upper 60s. Tuesday, we're in the 70s. You can see these 60s. Temperatures are climbing day by day, getting warmer and warmer. Today expected for temperatures to top off around those mid-70s. Tomorrow we get more of that, and then on Friday even warmer, nearing that 80 mark. This is as this high pressure system shifts, it dictates how warm we get each day. Cold front not too far away. That's what's expected to cross our area on Friday. But ahead of that, temperatures surge. It gets very warm across our area. So again, the next couple of days through your Thursday and your Friday, we're heating up. It's getting warmer. Temperatures in the upper 70s. So a few more degrees warmer as compared to today. After that cold front, well, that's when that cold, chilly, high pressure, Canadian high pressure moves in, and we get a cooler set of air mass that settles in for the weekend. So Friday is the warmest, and then after that, temperatures just crash into the 60s. A very similar outlook as compared to last weekend, where temperatures were stuck in the 60s. We're getting that once again this upcoming weekend as temperatures stay in those low numbers. So through the day today, we've stayed in the 70s. Tomorrow, we're right around there once again. Friday, even warmer, climbing up into the upper 70s, low 80s. But take notice on Saturday, this is as warm as it gets. We're staying in the 60s on Saturday. So those temperatures really do fall. We feel it on Saturday behind that cold front crossing, and it stays just that chilly through your Sunday. So we're talking a very chilly weekend after that cold front crossing on Friday. Again, the next couple of days will be warm.
All right, so Halloween on the way, of course. So we decided to have a little 4 to 5 Halloween decoration challenge. The point to this is that later on you're going to hear, I did some interviews with folks at Goodwill, and they were saying, not just, we always do the costume story every year, but this was decorations. They said, yes, you can get decorations there. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, we take normal things and then you make them spooky.
Okay.
So let me, I don't know if we can get a tight shot, maybe not, but I'm going to hold this up. So this is the one they did. Obviously, so you
I
hold
love
it up.
that.
Spooky.
Maybe I can hold that to 5. Obviously, it's going to be a lot better than anything you'll ever see us do. But we are going to, in the commercial breaks, and if you follow us on Facebook, you'll, at News 2's Facebook page, you can watch and we'll talk about it. But we have to decorate, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Okay?
I
So-
love arts and crafts, so this is up my alley.
And there's some weird stuff over here that you've
Doll
got here.
heads.
Look at these.
So yeah, so these were
Demon
doll heads, and I knew we
Very.
didn't have much time during the day, so I ran out and spray painted their faces. This is everything she gave us, right? So I didn't
Okay.
buy anything. She gave us some regular spray paint. Maybe we shouldn't do that in the studio. And then we've got a little bit of like red paint, kind of blood, with some paintbrushes. So we can do what we want to. Things I don't know what that is.
Pipe
You can-
cleaners.
Yeah,
We
pipe
got several
cleaners.
This could be a spider's legs or something.
These
huh?
are pretty cool. We have some leaves that have been spray painted black.
Yep.
And
yep.
then,
She gave us those. Everything here was bought at Goodwill. So
Okay,
even
cool.
the dolls, like those were, of course, were regular dolls, and they just ripped the heads
So
off.
where did the bodies go?
Well, you know what? I wish that she had sent a couple, because one I saw had just the bodies of the
Oh,
dolls
wow.
on the
See,
wreath,
that would be
you know?
even scarier.
Yes. So really, you're saving. I think she said if you take into account what you would have spent to do this. I mean, if you went to a Michael's or a craft store,
Sure.
this is probably like
$100.
Yeah.
This alone would be probably your most expensive
I mean, it
item.
may be, what do you think, $50 maybe for all this or more. But she said everything you see here was $15 or under.
Cool.
Okay, let's get to it.
All right, we're going to check in a little bit later. Stick around.
Ooh, I like the wrap.
Sounds like they just went to break. Mic check 1 2 3. We are at the Orange County Sheriff's
We are following breaking news in the double homicide case involving two teenagers. The Orange County Sheriff's Office detained a juvenile suspect today in connection with the murders of 18-year-old Devin Clark and 14-year-old Lyric Woods.
You'll remember ATV riders found their bodies in an area of Orange County last month. Investigators say someone had shot them. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland is now live in Orange County this afternoon with an update. Grace.
Sheriff Blackwood said that he's hoping that this juvenile that's been detained, that this situation will bring some relief to the families of Devin Clark and Lyric Woods. It's been a couple weeks now since their bodies were found in that Orange County field, and the community has really just been feeling this the entire time, really hoping that there could be some closure in this case. And now, of course, that process is at least beginning. Now, there's still a lot of things that we are waiting to find out here. We do know that a couple weeks ago, the Sheriff's Office announced that they were looking for a 17-year-old. We are still looking for some clarity as to whether this is the same person. It's a little bit unclear at this point. We're also in communication trying to get a hold of the DA to find out what the next steps are here. So this is obviously a very early thing, but we're working to get in touch with those folks, and we'll bring you updates as we get them.
All right, Grace, thank you. This is, of course, a developing story that we're going to continue to follow throughout the rest of the day. Our smartphone app followers will be the first to know of any new information. We'll be right back.
Hurricane season is still underway. It officially ends at the end of next month. So tropical activity is still possible over the next several days. And we're seeing that now. We have tropical depression 12. And then we also have this area cluster of storms that is riding near the northern portion of South America that's expected to make this continued track westward. So let's talk about both of them. Tropical depression 12, not much of a concern. It's expected to remain a tropical depression through much of its lifespan, but you see, it's so far close to the west coast of Africa, not expected to be long-lived and also not expected to do any damage at all to the U.S., so the continental U.S. So keeping a close eye on 12, but it looks as though this is not likely to be a concern at all for us. Now let's look on over to the other system where there is more activity that looks as though it could be a little bit closer, but I want you to keep a close eye to one thing. This system is very far south. Very rarely do we talk about tropical development so close to the northern portion of South America. It's becoming better organized, but it's expected to cross over some land, and that land interaction could interfere with the development of this Invest 91L. As it continues to move westward, it could develop into the next tropical depression thereafter that. The spaghetti models are in good agreement. We have one outlier, but they're in pretty good agreement that this system is going to cross the southern portion of the Caribbean Sea and make some impact along the southern portion of Mexico. So that's what we're keeping a very close eye on if this change, but it looks pretty confident that this track will continue to remain along the southern portion of the Caribbean Sea and again have no impacts to the continental United States. But we're going to keep a close eye on that Invest 91L over the next several days, as we know that the spaghetti model tracks could change, but we do have this persistent area of high pressure keeping our weather nice and dry and quiet, and so that's why we're not expecting much to change thereafter. So like I said, that hurricane season is still underway. There's the possibility we could check some more names off this list. Not expecting that at this moment on your Wednesday, but keeping a close eye on the tropics.
Clear skies were perfect for a trip to great galaxy beyond. Today, SpaceX and NASA launched their 6th crewed mission from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
The crew is made up of several astronauts, including the first Native American woman to be sent to space by NASA.
It was a picture-perfect launch carrying a crew of 4 from sunny Cape Canaveral to the International Space Station.
There we should see that second engine begin to ignite now.
We got 3 rookies that are pretty happy to be floating in space right now.
On board the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, a historic set of passengers, including Commander Nicole Mann, the first Native American woman to go to space, and 38-year-old Russian cosmonaut Anna Kikina.
We will do our job the best way.
She is the first cosmonaut to ride aboard a U.S. spacecraft in 2 decades, and it comes with strained relations between the U.S. and Russia over the war in Ukraine. Before launch, crew members said it hasn't been a distraction.
I'm thinking a lot about my own tasks for space program.
We are not talking about much other than, the mission and what we need to do to be successful.
In July, Russia announced it will end its participation in the International Space Station in 2024. But until then, NASA and Russia's space agency have agreed to a seat swap to help each other stay in space.
We can continue to support each other, to help each other, and to be a good partner to each other, like the best buddy system.
A rare chance to leave some problems on Earth
Let's do it together
and work together in space. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
So cool to go to space.
It is amazed by space travel. I would love to have that opportunity one day.
Yeah. Would you do it?
So you know how I am about flying. However, with that opportunity, I would have to figure out a way to get over it.
Yeah.
Because I would give anything to see the Earth from space and experience weightlessness.
I would love that too, yeah.
The initial takeoff, I just feel like that would be such an adrenaline. I love roller coasters, so I know that this would just be 10 times that.
What would be like the max amount of time you would want to spend in space?
Maybe a few hours, maybe a day.
Okay.
I'd stay a day. I
think. A full day to experience, eating in space.
Yeah.
The, zero gravity. Maybe
you know how they take showers too?
Yeah, showering
the big
space.
blob of water
That's
comes
crazy.
out and it just bounces all over.
I just want to flip around, take my selfies with the moon, all that good
I'd
stuff.
probably do a week.
Oh, would
a
you?
week?
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you? I would never do this. I don't think you would either. But you know that they were talking about that trip to Mars. That's a one-way trip.
No.
One way. So you're
one way.
So,
because they don't have the ability to launch rockets off of Mars yet.
So there were people. I mean, I think they had don't quote me. I don't remember the number. I'm saying like 100 spots or I don't know what it was. But they had hundreds of people said they'd do it. I could not leave the earth forever. Even if I didn't have kids, I don't think I could do that.
But do they know how long they will be able to sustain life
They
there?
say that if the project works, I mean, they're still talking about this, that they could sustain them for their lives, but I don't know how that.
Do you remember
That's
when
a
I
bit
interviewed a
strange.
woman, she was a student at Duke University, and she made one of the final cuts. And so I interviewed her just about like, you know, like when you go, you don't come back.
There's no FaceTime.
And you can't come back.
Yeah.
And she was like, I know, I understand that, but you know, this is, you know, some people it's just in their blood to want to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I'm glad those people are here.
Yeah, so we don't have to do it, right?
That's right. We'll be back. We're coming right back. While we're
All right, I am talking about
We've been using the
niceness.
pipe cleaners a lot to tie everything together.
Hey guys, tell us where you want us.
Could you hear me? Could you hear me? Okay, thank Eric and Lauren, got it. Thank you.
Okay, mics are up. So Facebook, this is what we've been working on so far of our spooky wreath for Halloween. We have some Barbie heads or some doll heads. We have pipe cleaners and tools, some black tools
Some
that
ribbon.
we're putting around, or ribbon.
Here's what they did, by the way. Theirs looks phenomenal, but we're working the best we can in commercial breaks, so we'll.
Yeah, so we're struggling because we don't have a hot glue gun, so we're
Yeah.
having to use these pipe cleaners here to tie everything down. So Eric, you want to hold
Wait,
this?
we could snip this.
Okay, let's go ahead and snip it.
That, and then we'll start over on the other side of that thing. That's fine.
Cool. So you hold this and I'll start
Okay.
wrapping. Where's the black ribbon?
Don't tell me we're out. Are we out?
Did Chad take it?
I don't
Well, we
think so.
have.
We can get that one. Okay, we'll check back in a little bit, guys.
Okay,
Sorry. In case you didn't know, it is National Do Something Nice Day. That should be every day. There can't be enough kindness in the world, that's for sure. We can always use that, and there's room to be better.
Yeah, we often see social media posts and videos of people saying such mean things, and it just seems like a little more niceness could go a long way. Psychology expert Blanca Cobb is here with us live to dive deeper into this topic. Blanca, what's the impact of being nice?
When you're nice to other people, you end up feeling good and you end up feeling happy and you're more relaxed. And the reason is because there's this contagion effect with being nice and kind to other people. You feel good, they feel good, and they reciprocate. You ever notice when you smile at somebody and they smile right back at you? And then when you're stressed and there's kindness floating around, whether you're exuding that kindness or someone's reciprocating and showing you kindness in return, then it kind of like knocks part of your stress away. The kinder people are, the nicer people are.
What about this, though? Should we be, and if so, how to do this, nicer to ourselves as well as others?
Good question.
Absolutely. And it's all about patience. We have to be more patient. Instead of jumping on ourselves saying, oh, I should have done this, I could have done that, why didn't I get this done? Instead of like beating yourself up mentally, give yourself that kindness by being patient and giving yourself some latitude if you make a mistake or you don't complete something in the time frame that you wanted. And the same goes with other people. Give them grace. Instead of immediately judging and deciding you know what somebody has done, take a step back. And if you give them some kindness and you're nice to them, you might realize that you've missed some information. And the nicer you are, you're not seeing through those rose-colored lenses, and you're able to see more objectively.
Here's something that might be tough for some folks. You say that we should do something nice even when we're angry with someone. Explain that.
Oh, yes. Well, it's very easy. When you're angry, what happens? You have these negative feelings, these negative thoughts. Sometimes you don't even want to be around the person that you're angry with. But let's say it's your romantic partner and you're having dinner. So even though you might be angry at a situation or something that they did, let's say that they're reaching for the salt shaker. If you just grab it and give it to them, or you refill their cup because you notice that they don't have anything else to drink, those little bits of niceness can actually change the energy and dynamic that is swallowing the both of you in the moment. Because what happens is they're going to be like, oh, okay, I thought you were angry, but they're being nice. It changes that attitude. So what happens, you have this wall of defensiveness, and it starts coming down just a little bit, or it isn't as thick, it gets thinner. And so what happens is then you're able to have a conversation and solve or work through whatever the situation was.
Thank you so much. Excellent insight, Blanca. You can continue the conversation with Blanca on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, body language expert. We'll be right back. I do.
Hey there, everyone in the studio, just letting you know our microphones are up for Facebook, so no potty mouth. Okay, look, we got some tape.
Do you decorate your house?
Got all this tape here.
Yes.
You know what I really want to do is put this red paint just right on their face to make it look like they're bleeding, like gushing out blood.
Well, you're gonna.
Hi, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check, mic check. Camera.
All right, our mics are back up. We got tape in the house. Tape in the house.
Tape
in his house.
We can do this. Are you doing the doll? Are you painting
Yeah,
the dolls? Okay.
Yeah, give them a little blood.
I need you.
Oh, we're doing some lighting things.
She has a gash on her head. She got hit with a hammer.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
she got hit with an errant candy corn. That's what happened.
She got hit with a hammer?
Yeah, she's bleeding from her face now.
Why did she get hit with a hammer?
She got into an argument.
It's a horror movie. I don't know.
Thank you.
There's this really angry carpenter down the street.
We continue your 4 to 5 with breaking news in a double homicide case involving 2 teenagers. The Orange County Sheriff's Office detained a suspect today in connection with the murders of 18-year-old Devin Clark and 14-year-old Lyric Woods.
Last month, ATV riders found their bodies in an area of Orange County. Investigators say someone had shot them. Now, in the weeks since, a family and friends have held several memorials honoring the teens, including a balloon release at Eastern Alamance High School where Clark was a student. We have been trying to get new information in this case for weeks, but investigators have not released much, mostly saying that this was a juvenile-involved case, and so they weren't able to release information about a suspect. But in a statement today, after the suspect was detained, the sheriff wrote, "We hope this apprehension provides some relief to the families and friends of Devin and Lyric who have experienced an excruciating loss." Obviously, the capture of the suspect does not restore their loved one to them. The grieving process is a long one, and we hope the community will continue to support them in their pain.
The sheriff's office says no other details will be released until the case is no longer the jurisdiction of the juvenile court.
Obviously, you can get all that information on WFMYnews2.com as we get more information, of course, throughout our newscast in the evening. And welcome to the 4 to 5, by the way. Eric Chilton joined alongside Chad Silber, Monique Robinson, and Lauren Coleman.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching us on News 2. We're also on Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app.
Over this half hour, you're going to see the progress that we have made on a spooky season decorations. How's it going so far?
It's going great. I'm having a good time. It's been a little difficult, but we found a rhythm.
That's
with,
right.
You know, tying all
run
the
over during the
decorations.
commercial breaks. Now, if you want to watch what we're doing, you have to tune in to us on Facebook, and we're live there during the commercials.
And we found red paint, so I'm making all of everything bloody.
Got some fake blood.
And we found some tape, too.
We'll tell you why we're doing this, too, coming up.
Yes.
Well, turning now to the devastation in Florida. Today marks 1 week since Hurricane Ian made landfall. The Category 4 storm hit the West Coast, spewing heavy rain and flooding across the area. Right now, Floridians are struggling to cope as they wrap their heads around just the overwhelming amount of damage. Thousands of people are still without power and no definite idea on when it's coming back.
President Biden toured some of the hardest hit areas today. He met with families, first responders, and volunteers.
President Biden and the First Lady got a bird's eye view of Florida's disaster zone Wednesday, seeing just how much destruction Hurricane Ian brought to the southwest coast. Fort Myers, once a beachfront paradise, now unrecognizable. Back on land, the president was briefed on the recovery and response efforts. Florida officials say statewide they've distributed more than 34 million bottles of water and more than 9 million shelf-stable meals. President Biden is also meeting with residents and small business owners, pledging cooperation among all levels of government to help people. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, a vocal critic of the Biden administration, has praised the ongoing cooperation that began even before the storm.
We were fortunate the White House declared this very quickly.
Earlier, the governor announced the opening of a temporary bridge to Pine Island, cut off from the mainland since last week.
We wanted to make sure that they were not isolated or forced to even have to leave the island that they love.
Recovery centers and volunteers are providing supplies to struggling residents and encouraging others to get involved.
It's not what you have in your pockets. It is what you have in your heart.
FEMA's damage assessment is ongoing, but it could be one for the record books.
It's so hard to believe it's been over a week almost that Ian has made landfall in Florida. Now, that wasn't the only spot where Ian made a landfall. Let's take a backtrack at the overall track of Ian. Looking at the history, the very first landfall with Ian was in Cuba. That was back on Tuesday, September 27th as a Category 3, and then it became more powerful and strengthened, intensified, made its second landfall along the coast of Florida as a Category 4 on Wednesday, a week from today at 3:05 p.m. at Cayo Costa, Florida, right around that area. Then it crossed the state of Florida, made a third landfall as a Category 1 in Georgetown, South Carolina on Friday. So it's been a week since its landfall in Florida, but everyone all along the coastline is still talking about Ian because its impacts are still felt today. Now on social media, folks are comparing Hurricane Charlie that happened in 2004 and Ian that happened just a week ago in 2022. Now I want you to see that this track looks very similar, making landfall right around the same area, and both of these storms were Category 4s when they made landfall. But an interesting thing that I picked up up on when I continued to look at this track, both of these also made a landfall right around Georgetown, South Carolina as well. So they have a very similar track, but the size of these two are completely different. And because Ian was so much larger than Charlie, its devastation, especially on the Florida coastline, was so much more impactful with that storm surge and such like that. So it's been roughly almost 15 years later, and we're talking about life-threatening conditions in the same area, but it's so much more massive with Ian as compared to Charlie.
So it's interesting, I lived in Tampa, so it's a little bit north of where Ian and Charlie both made landfall. But I called my friends down there and they said this one was worse for them. It's exactly what you're saying because it's bigger.
Yeah.
It made a bigger impact north into the Bay Area, but Charlie did more damage in a small area, so it was more of a direct hit south in Charlotte County, if any of you are familiar with that area, so down closer toward Fort Myers. So this had more of an impact overall.
Is there any reason with regards to weather patterns or land that they would take a similar path, or is it just kind of bad luck?
I don't know. I guess the upper level features at that time when we talk about the high pressure systems that were in place then may have been very similar as what happened with Ian. I'm not necessarily sure. I do know that the speed of Charlie was much quicker, so I believe the upper air dynamics were probably moving much faster. Unlike with Ian, we've had this high pressure that's been just sitting for such a long period of time, and that's why Ian is even sitting across the New Jersey area. They've been dealing with this for several days. We've been nice here. We've been dealing with nothing because we have the high pressure sitting over us, but it's making that low pressure over them just stuck. So it needs some sort of movement to happen for the systems to move along.
Yeah, it's kind of luck of the draw as to what the steering currents are with hurricanes.
Right.
But if you look at all the hurricane tracks over history, there are kind of normal patterns that show up more than others. The ones that go up the coast a lot, we get a lot of those that graze our coastline. But once you get in the Gulf, it's all over the place down there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It can get tricky, but
Yeah.
I mean, definitely still praying for Florida for sure.
Yeah,
Sure
all right. Thanks, Monique. Lauren.
Turning now to a health concern in our community, health leaders say there's a rise in monkeypox across Guilford County. Cases have gone up in the past couple of months and officials are working to slow the spread. Tonight, they are hosting a webinar encouraging more people to get tested.
To talk a little bit about the metrics, just like I've mentioned, we're going to talk about the symptoms and transmission of monkeypox. I think there's still a little bit of an not being sure and a little bit of still of a area that needs more education on how monkeypox is being transmitted. What are some activities that we need to really keep in the back of our minds? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about prevention. What are some of the areas that we want to emphasize to prevent the spread of monkeypox?
The virtual meeting begins at 5:30 tonight, and we've got the Zoom link in this story on our website.
Oh, it was a big afternoon in Greensboro today. The Petty Family Foundation hosted its annual Richard Petty Charity Golf Classic at Grandover Resort. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson found out why this event is so special to the King.
Year of the Richard Petty Charity Golf Classic. All proceeds going to support the mission of the Petty Family Foundation. The foundation tries to create positive change for those in need in our community. Richard Petty on the course today, checking out the tournament. He talks with us about how it feels to do something like this and see people come out to support.
Yeah, you know, I feel good about being able to work with the foundation and kind of draws people in to help us help other people. And so, you know, if they help the foundation, that means that this monies and stuff that go out to, different things around our community, we really appreciate people coming out, helping us to help other people.
Petty says there was a great turnout today and that it was a perfect day to spend golfing.
I couldn't help myself. Earlier in this 4:30 hour, I was staring at the sky view because if you guys see the mountains, the sky is so blue. From our High Point Sky Cam, you can literally see the mountains in the distance. So cool with those blue skies continuing through this afternoon. We're going to get to see more shots like this through the next 7 days. 75 degrees is the current temperature in High Point. Plenty of sunshine, as you can see, making for a very nice afternoon for a walk or bike ride. Tomorrow tomorrow, just around the same weather as temperatures are forecast to rebound into those mid-70s with mostly sunny skies once again. That high pressure is helping to keep this area of low pressure right around the mid-Atlantic, bringing in some cloud cover there, but the showers are starting to pull away as a cold front approaches, and it's expected to cross our area by late Friday. Getting breezy around that time frame, winds picking up through the latter part of your Friday. So starting the day with winds pretty normal, 5 to 10 miles per hour, but we could get wind gusts upwards of 20 to 25 miles per hour late in your Friday evening going into your Saturday. Beyond that, there's really not much to expect with this cold front crossing. No showers, no storms, maybe a few more clouds, but mostly we'll be talking about how the winds will get a little bit breezier. But behind that front, those temperatures will crash. You can see your Saturday and Sunday temperatures falling into the 60s. Saturday being a very chilly day, and Sunday morning, well, that's going to be a cold start to the week.
All right, time to check back in with our Halloween challenge here. Give you the scoop. You're going to see a story coming up in just a little bit where we talked to the folks at Goodwill, and they said how cheaply you can do Halloween decorations, in this case, a Halloween wreath. And they did an incredible job. We'll show you their finished product. I think this is better than I thought it would be.
I mean, thank goodness that Lauren went to art camp when she was a kid.
Yes. She's been talking
that week-long
about
day camp in the 5th grade really came together.
So we've got some doll heads here. We sprayed paint on them. We put some paint that looks like blood. We've done all kinds of stuff. And theirs, here, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, theirs looks really
cool.
Oh,
yeah, theirs is good.
We have a tight shot here. Let's go back to that, and I'll hold this up here. Where am I?
Camera 5.
Right here. Yeah, so theirs looks pretty good. And they took all these doll heads individually. They gave us some of the same stuff, and then there's ours.
Yeah, should we give them a little more better preview?
Easily hold
a preview?
Okay. We don't want these heads to fall. This, we got our little rhythm going with the pipe cleaners. Okay, here I go. Camera 5.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, that's not bad for
it looks kind of spooky, don't you think?
3 2-minute breaks that we've been working on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've worked about 15 minutes of work here. So we're making progress. So hopefully by the end of the show.
And now we got to figure out what to do with this.
I know.
I think that we have this blank section here. Let's wrap that.
Yeah, we could do that. Lauren really is way better at this than one of us.
Just let us be your assistant.
That's
today.
right. Welcome to Decorating with Lauren. Today, watch your paint.
And all this stuff came from Goodwill.
Yes, so that's the point, is that if you went out and bought all of this, you'd probably spend about almost 4 times what we did. She said everything that she gave us is all from Goodwill, and it was about probably 15 to 20 bucks for the whole thing. Whereas if you went to a craft store or something, you're probably spending 60 bucks easily for this.
It just seems like something great to do with the family too, like a nice affordable activity, especially if you have younger children. I mean, and not even younger children. As an adult, this is something fun to do with your friends. Have a little nice wind down and make some spooky wreaths.
We should auction this off. Do you think anybody would buy it?
Zero.
Maybe if we say it's from Chad Silver, people.
Yeah, right.
It's going to sell like hot
personal
hot
collection
cakes.
of spooky wreaths.
I had to give up half my doll collection for this.
That's the thing with this, is that these were actually baby dolls, and the most disturbing thing was the fact that under my desk today I had a bag of baby doll heads. That was
we're like,
the worst.
what's going on?
And some red to add some blood to them, right?
We'll show you some more of the finished product and talk to the folks at Goodwill coming up.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie.
See, that's why.
We need to. I'm going to continue to tie this down with these pipe cleaners.
We're back onto Facebook.
So, Chad, you can continue to wrap that.
Eric, I need you to hold this so I can wrap this while she's.
Hold on, everything's falling off now.
I'm going to tie. You know what? I'm going to just tie her by her hair and just let.
Okay.
Let the head dangle.
Just tie her up by her hair.
When can you ever say that? Let me just tie her by the hair.
That's right, and not be arrested. All right, here we go.
All right, I gotta watch out for this bloody one over here. She's got a
that?
bloody face right here. Watch out for her.
Yeah, be careful of the paint.
Oh, I do love Halloween, though. It is one of my favorite holidays.
Do you know what you're gonna be for? I'm always.
Do you do something? Do you always?
So last year I was a leopard. I just wore like a black one.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Jumpsuit I had and had some ears, and then I've been Foxy Brown. Pam Grier.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
Several years in a row, because I just wear like a afro wig and some bell bottoms. I actually have a picture of me in like the 9th grade with that outfit. I was her in 6th grade too.
Oh, you're going real tight on that.
Yeah,
Eric.
I was trying to. Here, hold on. We can just pass.
What do you plan to be? Do you all ever do the family costumes?
No.
I remember Stacy.
There was one
Spivey had a
time
cute one.
that I did that, but I can't. I think it's too cheesy. I know a lot of people do that. I just
the
can't.
Minnie Mouse.
Like, do you like Christmas jammies too?
Yeah,
You think
no.
that's too
we
cheesy?
did. We actually did do that a couple Christmases ago, and it was quite cute.
I just can't. There's a part
My
of me
mom
that thinks
really
it's-
wanted to make it happen.
Yes,
and I'm glad.
yes.
I'm glad we did. We had went
so
to Old
corny.
Navy and all got matching flannel bottoms.
Now the twins.
What is this? Grapes in her hair?
I don't know. The twins one year went as thing 1 and thing 2 from Cat in the Hat, which I thought was funny.
Oh yeah.
Little blue wigs.
This actually looks pretty good, y'all. Oh, we still have this. All right, Facebook.
We'll be back.
The next time you see us, you're gonna see more magic.
That's right.
Well, I don't
No matter how many times you see it, it's still cool to watch a drone take off. But what's really cool about this particular flight is what is inside the drone. That's right, food. Your lunch or your coffee break snack is stuffed inside the drone. Drone food delivery is happening right on the regular here in North Carolina.
Very similar to DoorDash and Uber Eats. The main difference is, instead of driving to your house, we'll be flying it. The main place that we deliver is to people's backyards.
So what's happening is Flytrek is operating in Durham, right there in the South Point Mall area, and their delivery area is about 2-mile radius.
I would do it.
I would try it. If for no other reason, just to see it. I'd like to see your food to come down
I
from
would
the
love
sky.
to try that.
Is the box heated? That's what I want to know, because that would make a difference.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they basically just stuff it in the box, because sometimes one of the people got Starbucks delivered, and it was a
like a
cold drink.
Oh,
Right?
that'd work. Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So you wouldn't want it to always be heated. What I really liked about this is that there's no tipping because it's a drone, right? You don't tip your driver or any of that kind of stuff, right? Because this is a drone and whatever else. It's all in one kind of service. But here's my thing. So at this point, because we've all gotten delivery for forever now, right? We're used to it. And we're used to tipping during delivery. Is it just now something that you just do? Or are you like, no, this needs to go away?
I feel like if someone has provided me a service, like they were my waiter or they delivered and physically brought something to me, I will tip.
I agree. If it's a drone, I probably wouldn't. Although you could and leave the tip once you take the food out, put it back in the drone. Seal it up. But I'm not doing that.
I suppose you could, yes.
I just can't get over, how are they going to find me?
So in this particular way, you have to live within that 2-mile radius, and they only deliver to single-family homes. So they deliver it to your backyard. And they put it down. So no apartments or anything like that. But what they do have is if you live outside that 2-mile radius, but you still want it delivered by drone and you don't want to talk to anybody, you can go to there's a green grass area outside Jersey Mike's of South Point, and the drone will take it there and drop it off for you.
Like a drone pad, like a helipad.
That's right.
A drone pad, a food drop pad.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very cool.
So we'll see if it works just as well as DoorDash and whatever, and if it takes off.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll be here all week, friends.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
That was going to be my question about. Hey, Tim Buckley.
Tim says
Do
I
you
like
like our decorations, Tim?
Ooh, this looks really sad and scary.
Okay, so
Well, good.
Look at my dangling.
So you did a
head.
good job.
Goal achieved.
And she has a piece of fruit dangling.
Here, let's
from her
move all our stuff.
Did you spray paint?
Tim, you're on Facebook.
Yeah,
Say
we
hi to
spray-
Facebook, Tim.
Uh-oh.
I don't care about them. Hey,
And then you did a little bit of
Liar.
painting too, Chad, right?
I'm just kidding. I love everybody.
Tim, just kidding. He loves you guys.
Are
This
these
is-
bloodied?
Yeah, put some
dolls?
blood on their face. Yeah. Well, they got hit with a hammer, and so there's some blood gushing.
This is the scariest wreath I've ever seen.
Good.
Whose
That's
home is
what
it
it's
going
supposed to
on
be.
to?
No, I don't know.
We're gonna auction it
Chad,
off.
it's going to go in
We
Chad's
put it in front of
door.
our lobby just to discourage.
Did you hear our producer Kiana just said, is the Mountain Dew part of the decoration?
Yes.
It's
Could
just a
be.
free
This will rot your
advertisement.
teeth in your mind.
I have an empty one, so we could. There it is.
Wow. So spooky.
Uh-oh, we're losing
Oh, this
things
one
right
was
now.
never put on, so
Oh.
Yeah, I just
you
gotta
can do
go
the final
clean this
touch,
up.
Chad.
Yeah, we do have to clean it. There you go.
Perfect.
Put
Looks
our
great.
Mountain Dews.
La, 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 la. Wow.
Scary.
Is
isn't
there
it?
a Halloween song?
I mean, there's just like Halloween spooky music.
Oh.
Yeah, this is Monster Mash.
There's a song called "This Is Halloween"
This
from the
is
Nightmare Before
Halloween.
Christmas.
Okay.
That's what Kayana just
That's a
sang.
good one.
What about the just the typical
I put a spell
the
on
Halloween
you.
movie, the ding 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 that thing?
That's spooky.
What do you think of my blood on the doll's
I
face?
think you did a good job.
That looks good.
That's
Did
really
y'all
It's in
all
her
I
hair,
did.
Did y'all
too.
watch the new Hocus Pocus yet?
No,
I have
did you?
not.
No, I
I
have not
watched-
I
seen
did.
it.
Was it
Did
good?
you- was-
Yeah.
Nothing like the first though, probably.
not
That's my
bad.
guess.
I thought it was really good.
Did they look a lot different?
No.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Which is crazy because they're
Like 20 years
big
ago?
age
30 years
difference.
ago or
Big
something?
age
Yeah.
difference.
If you don't want to age, all you got to do is be a movie star
Right?
and have a makeup crew.
Because they're paid to look young.
Yeah.
It's their job to look.
I mean, plus they're dressing up as witches, so they're supposed to be kind of ugly anyway.
Right.
I did see, my family watched it, and I didn't get to watch it, but I saw the opening scene. It shows them as kids, and they have these little girls that look just like the actresses.
Total lookalikes.
So funny.
Yes.
That part was funny.
I was expecting it to be not so good, and I thought it was better.
All right, Facebook.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye, Facebook. We are too much into this. All right, the point of all of this that we've been doing is obviously not our decorating skills, but it's actually to save you money, right? So we spoke with the Goodwill folks and asked how all of this works. Take a listen.
The decorations are the next biggest thing after costumes that people spend money on when they're decorating, when they're celebrating Halloween. So and that expense can really add up, and families are concerned about costs this year because of inflation and the cost of everything going up. And so shopping at places like Goodwill and other secondhand resources are a really good way to make very creative decorations without spending a lot of money.
Saving money is one thing, but what about the skill it may take to tackle a terrifying task like homemade decorating?
It's actually easier than you would think to take something that's everyday and turn it into something spooky. You really don't have to be a creative genius, although you certainly, if you're into crafting, you certainly can find supplies at Goodwill and run wild. But you can take something as simple as a toy or a stuffed animal and paint it to look really scary. You can take figurines or other just normal household items and just paint them black or silver and use that as part of a decoration. And even something as simple as a coat of paint can really change the appearance and the mood of something.
Yeah,
All
paint
right.
can do a lot.
Final product here. Do you want us to show it on camera 5 or yeah?
Okay.
There we go.
Here's
So we have the bobbling doll
This girl
heads.
is really, she needs some work. That's what we did, and literally during the course of the show, right? We started from the very beginning and just during commercial breaks did what we could. Nothing is really affixed on there very well. It'll all fall off, but that is our Halloween wreath done by Goodwill. And again, in case you've missed this, we did this and it would cost you around 15, maybe 18 bucks, somewhere there. She said everything on here. Obviously, she took real baby dolls and removed the heads and you spray paint them and do all kinds of crazy things. All of that can be bought at Goodwill, whereas normally she said $60 to $80 is what you'd spend.
I wish that we also had like the doll bodies, you know, like a headless body.
Or like
That
an
would've-
arm just like dangling with some
Right.
blood.
And if one of them was really big, you could take the body and then put this on the top of it and have it holding it up.
Oh, like with the head
like
here
that's
and
the
the arms all
stand.
around.
Or like get a little pumpkin and make like it a pumpkin head.
What's funny is that I did not expect us to get into this as much. During the breaks, we were having a blast.
We were coming back and forth every time. I mean, but let's tell them what we use. So we have pipe cleaners. We have ribbon, this black ribbon here. We have some
What's
ribbon
this called, that stuff? I don't even know what that is.
I'm not exactly sure what this is called, but this is like some type
like a
of
mesh
tie,
ribbon or
mesh ribbon,
something?
but we use this to tie down the doll heads. And we pretty much used the pipe cleaners to tie everything down because we didn't have a hot glue gun and we
just
didn't have any sturdy tape.
And red paint just to make it look a little bloody.
Yep.
I mean,
it was 1 can of black spray paint, and she did a lot of silver too, and then the red paint. And Elizabeth in our Facebook page, she's been watching during the break. She said we did a great job.
Oh, well, thank you so much,
good.
Elizabeth.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
We appreciate
Fortunately,
you.
Lauren went to art camp when she was a kid, so
Yeah.
we got some help.
Kind of helped us out a little bit.
All right, we're coming back. Stay there.
Say a 6-year-old girl. It's me?
Yep.
I don't hear anything. I don't hear myself.
You don't? Oh, I hear you.
Are y'all doing a mic check for me?
Yeah.
Hello, I am here and ready to go to do the news.
Hey, Lauren's not hearing anything. Let me see here.
Signifies.
I don't know either, but
It can't be great.
I'm sorry. 10-987-654-321.
Over the last hour, I've been working to get some clarification about what this all means.
It's time for my 2 cents. Last Friday, Ian swept through the Triad, bringing pouring rain and gusty winds. It also left thousands of residents in the dark. I was one of those customers who lost power for a full 24 hours. Keeping myself occupied during this time was initially a challenge. I've always relied on electricity to keep me busy. No lights means no cooking, no scrolling the internet, and no watching television. My first instinct was to take a nap. I thought maybe if I sleep for a couple of hours, when I wake up, lights will be back on. 2 hours later, still no electricity. I spent some time cleaning the kitchen and folding a basket of laundry I didn't get to earlier in the week. During this time, I was able to start reading a book I bought several months ago but never opened. In the end, a day without power was quite peaceful. Once the lights came back on, I was so thankful. Sadly, so many others can't say the same. What's a day without power when there are others who no longer have a home to turn the lights on? Hundreds of people in Florida lost their homes or remain in emergency shelters after Hurricane Ian. Continue to pray for those who have to rebuild and pray for those who have lost loved ones in Ian's path. We will get through this together. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now. We're staying on top of breaking news on WFMY News 2 at 5. An update on a double homicide investigation involving 2 teenagers, an 18-year-old from Alamance County, the other a 14-year-old.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office detained a juvenile suspect in connection with the murder.